Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where we break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. Now, it's Manchester United against the Spursy, so Spurs against the Manchester United in this case. And this was, I don't know, I watched quite a bit of this game. It's quite a bit of a dull affair, really. There was lots of problems that I saw from United that the Spursy didn't really capitalise on enough, and they really could have taken them to the sword much better in the second half. Now, the passing accuracy was in the 70% for Manchester United, and also they're awful in midfield for bottling challenges. And some of the mistakes they're making, I'm going to show you a highlight as well, like some of them. It looks like it's good if you're watching the game of football, but then when you actually freeze frame it and you look at it, you can go, oh, mate, some of these decision-making processes is awful. We're going to come on to the first goal here. I'm going to break this down. One of the other weird things I think is crazy is if either of these two teams won, they were second, and now I think they're something like fifth or seventh. That means that top sort of whole bunk of teams at the top of the Premier League is mad. And if you're new here, join us on Monday Night Live, where I discuss things like that in detail and lots of coaching and other things. And join us there. It's normally 8 o'clock on a Monday on a Saturday Night Live. Yeah, that's right. On a Monday Night Live. But we're going to break down this first Spursy letting in a goal here, right? And this is why it's sort of weird watching the Spursy, because there's so many things that they do well here, but then so many things they do just insanely poorly, right? So here's the break. He's coming through. Ratface brings it, suckers in a player. You can see the run, because obviously, look, you can see his vision is about there. That's what he's looking at. You can see this player's running across the back, lays a great ball, job's done, right? But Spursy do something really, really interesting after that. You can see everyone starts running towards the ball, right? Okay, and they're going to, obviously he's running out down here, doesn't matter. But you can see that there's this gaping gap here that anyone, if a ball gets crossed, anyone can take advantage of that gaping hole. This is why I'm so frustrated to watch Spurs. They cover this brilliantly. Instead of having these two players that normally run towards the ball, one slows down and starts covering the gap brilliantly. You're like, oh my God, I'm watching a Premier League defensive team here. This is awesome. He knows what he's doing. He's engaging the ball. Instead of having both of them, look, and he was going as well, but they haven't. They've all sort of stopped. They're peeling away. One's going to mark a player, one's going to cover the space, and one's going towards the ball. You're like, oh my God, they know what they're doing. Well done, defenders. Yes. And I don't think he's a centre. I don't know the Spurs team that well, but they're just playing football properly. And you're like, oh, this is good. Really good. They're going to win the ball back. This is simple. And because he doesn't go towards the ball and trusts on his teammate, does the exact right thing, when the cross comes in, does he get the ball? Let's find out. Oh, easy. Simple. They all do the right thing. Instead of three players chasing the football, trying to win it, one goes towards the ball, one goes over to mark players, one goes and covers the space. Job is done. Simple. Now let's get out and play football. But this is where it goes terribly wrong. They've just been done like absolute textbook, perfect, defending in the moment. Everyone switches roles and responsibilities. Everyone's fluid and dynamic, does the right thing. We win the ball back, and then just is completely awful. I can't understand it. Like how bad you can go from understanding that little breakdown, getting it perfectly correct, and then just everything's wrong. So when you got the ball here, you've got possession. Obviously, you're looking to try to get out, play out, do whatever. Play out, in you go. You're stepping forward. You're coming out. We're trying to get the ball. You're probably just going to try to cover in here, and you're just going to pull away because you want to open up this space for the guy on the ball. Right? That's what you want to do. Open up the space. As soon as you've got the ball, your team gets bigger. When you don't have the ball, it all contracts and gets tighter. Basic football stuff. Anybody knows, even your grandma. Spurs have a different opinion of that. When you've got the ball, what they decide to do as a team is squeeze the guy on the ball, and lose it themselves. That's exactly what happens here. Now the passing options are brilliant because they all stand in a tiny little square, where for some reason that's what they've decided to do. Instead of you just taking 2 steps back and being there, bump, giving yourself 2 away, and no, you can play out easy. Nope, they're 2 steps towards the guy with the ball to squeeze the play to make it impossible for him to do absolutely anything. Well, he does pass the ball. What's he going to do with it there? He just lumps it into a United player because there's nowhere and nothing for anyone to do because they've just closed that space down instead of opening it up. It's madness. I mean, you can't believe it was that bad, but it is that bad. It's just, you've gone for something brilliant to something awful in the space of 2 seconds. Shocking. But of course, as soon as they lose the ball back, United keep the pressure on. And this is what we're going to look at, right? So you've got their wide triangle that they're playing over there. Obviously, there's a player middle there, and they'll probably have a wide triangle over there, because that's kind of the system that they're employing. Right, do we have enough players to deal with that triangle? Yeah, we do. Do we have enough players in the middle there? Yeah, to deal with that? Yeah, we do. So it doesn't really... Okay, we lost the ball inside our own 18-yard box because of incompetence, but can we still defend this out and do a good job? Again, there was 4 players there. Do you see that? 4 players. And they all don't run towards the ball like we normally see. One player goes to the ball, the other people start covering space, and immediately football brains kicked on again. It's like, oh, great, yeah, we know how to do this, defending, brr, brr, brr. It's when we have the ball inside of our 18-yard box, we don't know what we're doing. Then they start covering the space and doing a brilliant job again. Bearing in mind, there is a striker completely and utterly unmarked in the 18-yard box. That is a problem right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, watching the ball. Nobody paying attention. He can't really go because he's got to be watching him there. Yeah, that is a bit more of a concern to me. And the reason is, as this ball starts to get rotated around, you can see now if there's a decent ball in, he's got himself a goal anyway. Now, my mind's gone completely gone. I'll let it go on camera. I'm not going to pause it. I'm just going to look like a muppet while I try to remember exactly what I was trying to think about. No, I've lost it. It's about marking Mbeumo here in the box and why these players have gone brain dead, just like I've gone brain dead right now, thinking of that point that I'm trying to make. Oh, it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me as we're going. Right, so as he fires over the cross, Dumpf, you can see, look, should have been a goal right here. That's exactly perfect. Set up. No one's marking. That should be a goal right there. Fluffs his lines a bit because he's gone. The ball's. It's one of those weird ones where I used to put a lot of curve and whip on my balls all the time just because I could bend the ball really, really far, left foot and right foot. Oh, sorry, inside the foot or outside the foot. Don't bend it with my left foot. My left foot's for volleying for some reason. Is anyone else like that? Where I'm a right-footed player, but I had so many injuries on my right leg that I ended up learning to play left-footed. Played left-footed for years, especially dribbling the ball, completely different. But volleying, I cannot. I'm right foot. Volleying for the life of me, I cannot do on my right foot. But on my left foot, I'm brilliant left foot and on my volley. Is anyone else like that? They can do something on one foot that they can't do on their dominant foot. That's yeah. I've got lots of little quirks like that. But you see, the ball's bent and it's coming into him. So that instead of just being a flat for him to attack it, it's bent into him a little bit, and his run's not quite right there. Sorry, he stepped 2 steps too far for his run. The ball's just not quite a good enough quality. But Spursy, all they've got to do now, keep the shape, win the ball back. And here you go, that's what they're doing. Brilliant. Can he win the header? Yeah, he can. Dosh wins it, puts it into the safe zone. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice, decent shape there. We've got some people in the middle there. We're all happy with that. Defensively, we're pretty sound. We've just got to go and win that second ball now and get out and defend. Brilliant. So that's what amazes me. The shape is great. They're doing the right thing, winning that first ball. Just win the second ball. They don't win the second ball. They've got 3 players, which of course that's one too many for a triangle. People in my chat will know exactly what I'm talking about right there. Old coaches' tricks that they don't teach anymore. You don't need 3 players to make a triangle in football. But there's missed that. That's fine. But we've got enough players to deal with it. But yet again, this is, look, completely and utterly brain farts. It's like some of the lesser important things they do and some of the most important things that they don't. But then sometimes the most important things they do and the lesser important things that they don't. That is shocking. And you've got 2 players here holding hands, going for a picnic, and no one's marking it. Now, at this point, there's only one person that's got to take responsibility. And there's this kiddie here. He's watching Mbeumo. Mbeumo ends up doing a curved run around him, okay, and heading the ball. And the guy actually doesn't even do a curved run. All he does is keeps facing this way, and he jogs around like that, facing the one direction, and then knocks it into the net box. And he doesn't even pay any attention whatsoever. Everybody else is kind of doing their jobs, focusing on the ball. They could have all stepped back a little bit as well. You got rat faces right there, but who cares? Watch this poor marking. Here he is. This is what I'm talking about. There's the 2 players. Watch this. That's his shockingly amazing movement, jogging 2 steps backwards to the side and completely baffled the Spursy defender. He didn't know where did he go? How did he get away from me? He slowly walked to the side and backwards away from you. So when the quality ball comes in, it is a quality ball. Keepers, I don't know. This is one of those weird ones where I don't know the keeper well enough whether or not he can get there. Now, There's different standards of levels of goalkeeping. Remember that. People always say, oh, the keeper should do this. But you have to go on the standard of player that you have, not what you think should happen because you have the best goalkeeper in the world. What you have because of the goalkeeper. You've got to judge the player on his standards and then try to raise those standards. Not put the standards here and say he should be this way. That isn't how you do it. Okay, you don't become better like that. You just demoralize everybody. So remember, judge them on their standards and then try to raise their standards. That's how you make them better football players. So, boom, it comes in. No one's there. Simple header. United go 1-0 up. But let's move it on. So I'm going to show you a couple of little, freeze frames to show you the build up to what I want to actually show you. This was an interesting game to watch as well because the referee was actually quite good. Oh, I don't know his name. I couldn't tell you really any bad decisions he got. People were getting fouled all over the shop and he just went, nah, play on, boys, play on. So the players started enjoying it. They were putting in tackles and knocking each other over and there wasn't free kicks. But there was a lot of 50-50s that United midfield bottled. And the United midfield, so United looked like, we used to call it years ago, we have different rules. We used to make fun of the coaches we were playing against. We called it chicken football when they're sitting, because we know they're not as good as us. They know they're not as good as us, but we're making fun of them and saying chicken football, trying to bait them to come out and play football against us. Because if they play football against us, we'll batter them. So they sit in defensively and then try to hit us on a counter-attack because they've got some, pacey players up front. And they can beat us doing that, so we don't want them to do that. So we say it's chicken football, right? Oh, you're too scared to come and play out and play us. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, I'm not going to come and play you. I'm going to do what I need for my team to win a football game. So United, though, I'm going to show you why this is important. Is because the two midfielders United are using is Casemiro and Bruno Ratface, and they're just not good enough on situations like this. That's why I'm bringing this up. Okay, so this is the situation. This is where the United, basically in the midfield is. They've got caught out, right? And it's the transition. So when United are all set in their different phases of play and their shapes of play, they're okay. When it turns into a game of football and a tackle happens, it breaks free, this is where their midfield gets utterly torn apart and exposed. And you think it's the running through here. It's not the running through here because it's on transition. This is going to happen anyway, right? So this can just happen anyway in a game of football. We all know it. That isn't the key moment. I'm going to show you the key moment, and you're going to I've seen this before in other games of football, and we were wondering why he's not back and why he's... Yeah, I'll show you. But so he picks the ball up, bump, turns, off he goes, trying to play the player out wide. This is the key problem, right now. He's done a bit of a run, pressured a bit, ball's gone out here a bit, doesn't matter. But this is the key moment, right? So you're on transition. What do you do now? Right, I want you to think about what you see in this picture, and you tell me what you think. Just have a put in your mind's eye. Right, this is what I think's wrong, Cash, and this is where the goal's going to be conceded from, or why the goal's going to be conceded. And it isn't just in this scenario. I talk about this all of the time. The most important area of the field, and no one even most modern football coaches don't address it. I'm telling you why, because it's not in coaching licenses, it's not in coaching books. They do not get it. Right? Even with like AI analytics and all that other nonsense, it does not get addressed, which I kind of love because it makes me look better. But I don't care about giving out my secret sources. Actually, I do some of them. I keep some of the things I know under lock and key. But it's this middle area here, right? Is there a single player that is covering this area here? No. Right. Do we have our 1, 2, 3, 4 back 5? Yeah. Okay. We've got pressure on the ball. Yeah. But this is the area that we're worried about. It's all about this second ball area. If anything happens, we can't win the ball, turn around and counter attack, but they can keep the pressure on. That is the most, and that's what I'm talking about. Key and having Bruno Fernandes, Ratface and Casemiro. They're too slow. So from that position from the halfway line, neither of them are back in time here to deal with this. Neither of them one of them is just sat here waiting to see what happens. That's the important part. It's the pace and the energy to get back and just stand there and just be there. Why is that super important? I'm going to show you now. As this cross comes in, as you can see, bomb, fires it in. Where's our covering midfielder who can come in and help put pressure there or help put pressure there or do anything? He's not there. He's still running back from the halfway line. Okay, so when the striker receives the ball inside the box, there he is. Now he's coming into play right now. Right? Now he's finally getting there. But he needed to be there. So when that striker there received the ball, okay, remember where's his vision? His vision would be there. What he would see is a Man United player right there. And he would panic. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. What does he see instead? Open, solid grass. That means he knows he can turn. No one's going to try to nick the ball off him because he's got his space. So if you go back to when I draw those little, lines, there's his shoulders, there's his area, that's his playing space. These ones are taken away by the defender because he's got this space here and he's got this space here. That means, right, he could take a strike there. If there's a player stood here, guess what? That space overlaps and he can't do anything with the football, okay? And he can't turn and smash it into the goal just as easy as he does. Watch, turn, because his touch is poor. Do you see? Guess he would have snapped it up there. That midfielder would have snapped it away, gone in seconds, turned, smashes it into the net box. Yeah. That's the reason why. You saw how poor the striker's touch was because he's under pressure from the defender. And if he doesn't push it into that space, the defender's going to take it off him. So he's got to knock it a yard that way. He can only yock it and not yock it. He can only yock it a yard that way. Yeah, okay, we're getting silly now. He can only knock it a yard that way because there's no central midfielder there in that space covering it whatsoever. So he can afford to do that spin, turn, and finish. Now, what's the reaction from Ratface? Screaming at everybody else. Mate, you're the midfielder. I know you're not a midfielder, but they're putting you in midfield. That's your responsibility. You're going to blame them for losing the ball on the halfway line. Well, that happens. That's the problem right there. And when someone figures out on United how to do that counter-attack really quickly and knock it into that gap, they get battered. The thing is, the way that Amram's got the team set up, that flaw there isn't exposed enough yet. As they start to get better or more confidence or attack teams more, that will get exposed more and more week in, week out. Mark my words. But let's move it. So here we are. What's the same problem? Do United have a covering player sitting on top of the box? Spurs, you've got 1, 2, and 0. No. So you know what's going to happen? Like, it's not like that I don't say this every week and it's the same thing every week. That's how easy football is. It is about doing the basics and then doing the basics really, really well. I had to explain this to coaches. Okay, when I was learning coach, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, and just getting my feet wet when I was a young little puppy coach running around, I used to listen to all these coaches explain because they were on this. The football meta was being really good with both feet. Did you ever hear about that? Yeah, you got to be just as good on your right foot as you are your left foot. All right. At the time, the example was like, yeah, but there's Diego Maradona or Ryan Giggs. Nowadays, you'd call it like Messi. Yeah, but Messi doesn't use his right foot. Yeah, because he doesn't have to. He doesn't need to. He focuses on his strengths, not his weaknesses. He makes the thing that he's good at simple. He makes that better and better and better. In football, you focus on the simple things and then you make it better and better and better and better. The simple thing when you're defending corners and free kicks is you have to have people here in this area. If you don't, you will concede goals. That's exactly what happens. United, when this corner comes across, that's exactly the moment there where this ball needs to be won or attacked by a United player. As soon as this little flicky on comes, right, you're going, right, yeah, first ball, Spurs needs to win it, but the second ball, that's what this guy is. He's the second ball dominator. That's what that player is there. By the way, he might have been able to, but he hasn't moved since the corner's come in. And it's got to be a midfielder, right? Midfielders are a different type of players, the way that they see the game. You can't have a defender doing it. You can have a striker do it. You can. If you, I used to have a striker. Oh, I can't remember I can't remember the name. Just not saying who it is because people will know who it is. He was really, really good at this. He was really, really good at this. He understood this. You could sit in there. He'd get that job perfectly and defensively. Right, boom. So let's move it on ever so slightly. Oh, didn't win it. Okay, it bounced. Okay. Now all he's got to do is try to hit the target. Now this is another problem. Discipline. The ball's gone this way. Why are you running that way? Well, anyone know? Because you're the reason that they score, because you keep them all on side. Because everybody else obviously has a game plan. Look, you can see where the line is. He's too slow, and he's not even on the same page. I don't know if he's got the same playbook, but he's just going back to the goal for some reason. I don't know. If they followed up properly and did their job properly on the defensive line, this isn't a goal. If they had a person on top of the 18-yard box, this isn't a goal. But they've got none of those. So he has his little touch, strike. He's keeping him on side. Player sitting in. It's Richarlison. And everybody hates Richarlison. Even his own mum hates Richarlison. He's one of those players that's just so cocky and arrogant and is rubbish at football. It's like, I can remember something like, didn't he mouth off against Virgil van Dijk when he was at Everton? Like, I didn't even know who the kid he was. Like, he was like saying, "Yeah, I'm the best striker." I was like, "Oh wow, this Brazilian striker, Richarlison, he's going to be good that game." Then watch the game, and he never touched the ball. I'm like, why are you running your mouth? And you're bad at the football. Like, just be good at the football and keep your mouth shut. I don't know. Maybe it's the only reason we gets anywhere because we all talk about him. I want to know from any Spursy or Everton fans, do you actually like Richarlison when he's in your football team? Or does everyone just dislike him? But he does get a little good header here. Does flick it. Dosh into the corner. Doesn't it? I don't even know much about it. But it's a quality little flick. And away they go. So we're going to do a couple of free frames and a couple of moving parts. But this is the run. This is De Ligt. He's coming up here. And he's doing that there. And he scores there. Okay? What's the Spursy defending? All right? First off, have a little look. Defensively, they've got a guy almost in the 18-yard box. Not good enough. That's not good enough. You've got to be further up. Look, again, two frame. It's like they understand it attacking-wise to win that, second ball, but not defensively. Yeah, that is what AI data models are doing, by the way, in football. AI data models are, that people are seeing that. And, right, okay, I'm talking about it on Monday Night Live. I didn't. Remind my point about AI and the problems with AI in football, and you get the recurring bots talking to themselves on Twitter and all of that, and you do on YouTube as well. But that is the same problem that's happening in football. That's what happens when non-football stuff happens and people start copying it. Right, so as this goes right on here, you can see he makes a little push and a shove against the guy that's marking him. He runs around the goalkeeper. Look, there he is. He's running around the goalkeeper. There's his person marking him. There he is. Still chasing him. Now, after a bit of a bumpy with the goalkeeper, look, they were here. Goalkeeper runs that way. De Ligt runs that way. There's the player marking him right there. This kiddie here. Don't know who he is, but he's the problem. So now De Ligt's like, oh, I'm unmarked. There's a big melee going on here. There's enough Spursy players. It's 1, 2, 3 dealing with 2 Man United players, right? But the guy supposed to be marking De Ligt, is it number 22 right there? Goes on a walkabout. De Ligt now just jogs ever so slowly towards the back stick. He's caught into the bundle. No idea that his player's he's nowhere near him anymore. And he just headers it into this massive gap here. Remember, I'm a big fan of having people on the post. If there's someone on the post, he's running out and he's challenging this header, and it isn't a goal. And it's not that I'm a fan of having people on the back post. It's more, on the front post. It's more about the back post. If the goalkeeper's on the front post covering that area, the other guy stands on here to attack the space in front of him. And if he does that, that's not a goal. And it is. It's too simple. It's too easy. Last minute of the game, United get themselves a point from the jaws of victory, effectively, because they were winning the game. They come from behind to draw, which makes really bizarre. But there we go. And I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.